Greetings and welcome to Growth Hacking Secrets. I'm your host, Mohammed Siddique from Atlanta, Georgia, and the co-author of New Success Secrets available on Amazon. On this episode, we have a special guest, Adam Hommey. Adam is the Executive Director of the R.E.A.C.H system. Please join me to give a warm welcome to our guest, Adam Hommey. Adam, welcome.
Hi, Mohammed. Thank you so much for having me on board. I am excited to be of service to your community.
I appreciate that. And you can call me Siddique if you like to. And let me go start with this. Where
Siddique
were you?
will work.
Yeah. Where were you? What happened? Who you were surrounded with that inspired you to do what you do today?
Okay, it wasn't one specific incident. It's just my years of experience as an entrepreneur that I discovered that in many cases, no matter what happens to them at any given time, whether they have a big launch, whether they get a media opportunity that brings in a lot of business, or they just get really good and get on a good revenue train, once the dust settles, they find themselves again at that same plateau of profitability or lack thereof. And sometimes it's even the same dollar amount or even the same percentage. So they wonder, why am I even doing this for? Why can't I just get by? So for many of them, it feels like they're trapped in that movie Groundhog Day over and over and over again. That became the title, that rather influenced the title of my book. Groundhog Day is an event, not a business strategy. And it's all about finding those pesky issues that are burrowed beneath the surface and bringing them up along with the rich soil that makes the grass greener on your side of the fence. So you find those things that keep you on that plateau, that keep you in that Groundhog Day loop, and you use a little bit of contrarian thinking and a little bit of pattern interrupting to bring yourself to see a new point of view. And I found that the podcasting modality is a great way of doing that, because using podcasting, like I see you do, because I follow your show, as a networking, client attraction, and celebrity branding tool, gets many entrepreneurs out of that loop of hustling for free strategy sessions or messaging people on LinkedIn constantly saying, hey, I have big results. Can I hop on the phone with you and tell you about them? Whereas we focus on the relationship building side of it, like you and I are doing right now. And I look forward to maybe meeting some people in your audience too and being of service.
Wonderful. That's amazing. What are the top 3 mistakes to avoid?
The top 3 mistakes to avoid. I'm going to focus this in on podcasting specifically, but it does have relevance in other areas of business and marketing. So the first one is number 1, own your media. I have seen way too many entrepreneurs sunk because they don't take the time to have a proper website with proper communication channels, and they don't have nailed down their systems for managing the intake of prospects and the intake of customers. So something happens and it all gets wiped out and they're stuck where they began, again, in that groundhog loop. Number 2 is if you just throw up a few episodes on some free service and say, oh, I have a podcast. That's where podcasts go to die. Yours is intentional. You have branding, you have a website, you have a plan, you have one of the most detailed formulas I've ever seen for putting together a show, which is why you have the success. And that carries over to all areas of business. Be intentional, understand your branding, and understand your avatars up front. And then the third one is, in the podcasting community, I see a lot of obsession over, say, for example, they have a 30-minute episode and they'll spend 5 hours editing it. Now, candidly, for you, you've shown me where you're going to make the edits. So I'm giving you X amount and you're going to take Y and that's going to make A, which is great. So you already have a formula for extracting what you need from me. But I see folks who will spend 5 or 6 hours because there's a tiny little humming noise. That's the opposite of action. It's the same as waiting till your branding is perfect, because the moment it's perfect, something's going to change and it's going to be irrelevant. Get something good. Get the customer attraction going and allow your success to fuel your evolution.
Wonderful. What is your greatest failure story? What did you learn and how did you recover from it?
I cover this in my book. I had a case, this was about 15 years ago when I was in a different business. I did not have one client from hell. I had 3 clients from hell at the same time who were all friends with each other. I was very new to business and I didn't understand effective customer management the way I do now. I got so frustrated, I took my printer and smashed it in 1,000 pieces. When I moved to a better apartment 2 years later, I was still finding pieces of that thing. So here's a lesson. I recognized I was in a really bad place And I also owned that I allowed it to happen. But at the same time, the other lesson, and this is very important, especially for entrepreneurs, is I had the power right now to make sweeping changes to fix it. I could get started on that process right now. I wasn't stuck in a situation where I had roles imposed by others and supervisors where I had to play by certain rules, and I had to thank the people who were making my life miserable for taking the time to pay attention to me. I fixed it. I fixed all three of those client relationships. I fixed my business because I had the power to do it, and I owned it.
Wonderful, wonderful.
And now I work out of a sumptuous apartment in Las Vegas, and I have a feline supervisor who joins us for our shows. And she is welcome here at any time. She is my supervisor. She lives here, and she walks everywhere. They call it furniture for a reason.
Yeah, wonderful. So now we are talking about enough about your mistakes and enough about your failure. Let's switch the other side of the table, 180 angle shift. And my next question is, what are your top 3 success secrets that others can model? Before you answer this one, here is my request. Please give us your best ones because we are greedy when it comes to knowledge.
My best one. Understand there's no such thing as the truth. There are facts that can be empirically, scientifically, mathematically, otherwise proven. Truth is in the eyes of the beholder based on our experiences, our background, our education, and what has formed us into who we are. Understand that, and understand that people who may have different truths than you are speaking from their truth, and you will find the common ground that will connect you to more prospects, more customers, and help you get through life a lot better. That's number 1 with a bullet. Number 2 is say no to success. Most of the time you have to say no to opportunities unless they're right on the path, and you have to know what that path is. The way I look at it is, if I'm saying no to something, there's somebody out there who's ready to say yes to it. I just created somebody else's prosperity by giving them the opportunity to say yes. I made somebody's day. I feel good about it. And then number 3 is this is, if you've ever seen that analogy, and you see this in posts somewhere on Facebook or LinkedIn where somebody says, if somebody gave you $50,000 to spend on marketing, how would you use it? And you get all the answers. Well, I'd build funnels. I'd do Facebook ads. I'd buy media, things like that. My answer is always, I'd cancel my debt. And here's the reason why. And people say that's sometimes backward thinking. I have cash flow right now. If I get rid of debt service, not only am I freeing up existing cash flow, but I'm also saving myself cash flow because that's less interest payments I have to make. And then things that I pay for monthly, well, instead I'll pay for them annually and take the 10% discount, more cash flow. So if I take that $50,000 and just spend it on marketing strategies, if they don't work the first time, I'm out $50,000 and I'm still where I'm at. If I open up my cash flow first, I can try again, even before my business picks up another customer, because all I've done is just unleash the valve that'll keep flowing.
Your success secret is so valuable. I give you the chance to give us one more bonus one if you like to add.
Okay, one more bonus one, and this was taught to me by my persuasion teacher, Paul Ross, is this phrase, up until now. Instead of agonizing over your mistakes, things that didn't go well, just say, up until now. It's been the case that I didn't fully understand how to properly manage my customer relationships, but now I claim my learning, my knowledge, and my power to be the best possible resource I can be to those who depend on me.
Wonderful. I'm glad I asked for a bonus one. That was really a big bonus. Okay. So, Adam, we are about to get into a lightning round. That means a quick question and quick answer.
All right. Let's bring it.
What are you grateful for today?
I am grateful to live in fabulous Las Vegas where we have nice weather, and to live in this wonderful apartment with a beautiful balcony, and to hang out with my 2 cats. One of them is right here.
How young are you?
44 years young as of today.
Yeah. So, Adam, you are not 44. I can tell you for sure. You are 18 years old with 26 years experience.
Ah, I like how you think, my friend.
Yeah. What do you want to do when you grow up?
Well, I'm currently on a short-term plan. It's going to take me about 3 to 5 years, where I'm going to not only be completely free of any financial independence on anybody, but the basis of it is I'm going to have 5 separate businesses, 5 different streams of revenue that are not necessarily related to each other, which will go a long way towards making me bullet point as I build my ultimate wealth.
Wonderful.
So when I grow up, I just want to be able to do what I want.
How do you overcome a challenge life throws at you?
I could use the cliche and say I throw it back, but I also teach in my book that every cloud has a silver lining. The silver lining is a precious metal. Invest in it.
Wonderful. How do you start your day?
As slowly as I have to. I'm not one of those leap out of bed and get right at it people. I take time for a good breakfast, a good meditation. I allow my brain the time it needs to get calibrated.
Wonderful. What is the advice you will give to a younger yourself?
If somebody comes along and says, I will give you $3,000 if you'll work for me for 3 months and quit your job, in addition to my retainer that I pay you, take it. You can build a sustainable online business in 30 days with $3,000. Save myself a lot of time with that one.
Once you have a revenue generating idea, how do you convince your significant other?
I don't currently have a significant other, but when I do find one and I know she's the one that I need to be with, we're not going to need to convince each other. We're going to be so focused on lifting each other up, we're just going to get excited about it.
What is the impactful book you have read and what did you learn from it?
I read this the first time when I was a child. It's called FDR, written by Ted Morgan. It came out in 1985. It's currently out of print, but there are lots of copies on Amazon. It is a fascinating study of our 32nd president, and you get a primer on how a human being can evolve to become more effective despite of or because of his background and upbringing, and how to react in real time to unforeseens when you're trying to get your program through.
Wonderful. Why being impactful is important to you?
Well, people feel impact. And remember, people may not remember the exact words you say, but they're certainly going to remember how you made them feel. So I focus on my impact.
Who is your mentor and what's the impact?
My mentor, I'm just going to come out and say it, is Jesus Christ, because he was one of the first to open a new paradigm and invite people to reevaluate their truths and find a new path.
What do you want to be remembered for?
I want to be remembered for making an impact, and I want people to remember me as a crazy cat daddy.
Who is your ideal client?
Somebody who knows as much as I do about what I do, because I want to work with a peer that I can mastermind with, not somebody where I'm the one-eyed man leading the blind.
How can we support you?
I would love it if everybody would join my podcasting community at www.everythingpodcasting.group. That's www.everythingpodcasting.group. Wherever you are in that journey, we're here to serve you.
Yeah, and the website is?
And that's our business website, www.thereachsystem.com.
Wonderful. What does the REACH stand for?
REACH is an acronym that basically addresses 5 stages of moving from thinking about doing a podcast to using as your primary networking, client attraction, and celebrity branding tool.
Wonderful. Just a few words about what about your today's experience? What would you say about your today's guest experience on the show?
I do a lot of homework. And I think that's part of the reason you're so successful is you gave me an opportunity to take a fresh look at myself from the outside looking in. And I think that's going to pay off in ways I haven't quite seen it yet, but I know it's there.
What would you say as a final word?
The final word I'm going to say is Grandma Hommey's favorite word is stick-to-itiveness. Have stick-to-itiveness with what you're doing. You'll go a lot further.
Wonderful. Thank you so much, Adam, for sharing your wisdom with us today on the behalf of Growth Hacking Secrets community and our entire team. We really appreciate you. This is Mohammed Siddique signing off from Atlanta, Georgia. Until the next episode, all good wishes.